Alright, so I'm back here working on the Blazer again. I know in the last video I said it's not going to be a full body rock crawler anymore. That was kind of true at the time, but I think I'm going to go, I was thinking about doing this already. I think I'm going to go back to my original plan, and it's just going to be a little bit more work now. But so I'll tell you what my plan is. I want to bring the back of the Blazer forward and shorten it about 13 inches so I have like a 0-degree departure angle on this. But now that this is all smashed, instead of just cutting it off and moving it forward, I'm going to cut it off, and then I'm actually going to cut the back off of my other Blazer and merge it into this one. So you can see I already pretty much pulled everything out of here. Tailgate's off down there, fuel tank's out. But for this plan to work, everything from the frame rail forward and from about here down, all of this stuff right there has to get cut out. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just going to get both wheel wells completely cut out to where it needs to be. Alright, so I got that cut out. I cut the other side out off camera, same exact thing. But so I've made some marks. This one doesn't mean anything right now, but right there, up here, is where I need to cut the skin off. So I will leave all the inner structure here and shorten that up later. But for now, I'm going to cut the skin off because I'm going to replace that with the stuff from my other Blazer. Alright, so I just got all of the skin cut off of the Blazer here. As you can see, it's a little intimidating at this point, but believe it or not, I've actually done this to a lot of cars. A lot newer and nicer than this one as well. So I used to work for an auto body shop. I worked for Robbie, so should turn out alright, I think. But now that I got all of the skin cut off of this, now this is the structure that holds the body panel on. So now I'm going to shorten this 13 inches. You just set it down. Alright, so now I cut those thingy-majingies off. Now we gotta weld the
thingy-majingies?
This thing back on precisely. Oops.
Precisely in the right spot.
As precise as you can be. probably fill your seat.
Yeah.
Burning some holes in it.
It's not a bad idea for sure.
Alright, so it's a new day. Last night I got this tacked into place, and now just to make sure, you know, everything's where it needs to be and it's all gonna line up, I want to get some more structure into it before I completely weld it. And I'm gonna do that by getting the tailgate on. So the bottom hinge to the tailgate is right here. So I need to move, you know, all this stuff forward, and then the tailgate latches right here. So if I can get this moved forward, get the tailgate put back onto the hinges, I'll be able to close the tailgate and latch it in, and that'll let me know that this is all pretty much in the same spot, the right spot it needs to be in. I didn't get much of it videoed. I'm just working by myself, so it's kind of hard, but so I did get it shortened up and tacked in place right there. It's just tacked there, and I threw the tailgate on. The hinges and the latches are still there. Oh, that was just, you know, sitting there for visual. This is all gonna get replaced or whatnot, but you can see back of the bumper is basically right in line. One of my old co-workers messaged me. He's got another 2-door Blazer sitting out in the field, so I'm gonna go pick that up tonight, so I can take the cab corners off of that. Because if you guys didn't know, 2-doors and 4-doors are a little different. The 4-door does not have this body line right here, so it'd be a little hard to get that to work. So luckily he's got a 2-door out there, so I'm gonna go pick that up so I can cut that one up and use the cab corners and whatever I need from that one. So here she is. I got back pretty late last night, so I didn't video anything, but here's the third Blazer that I'm going to be cutting up. I'll be cutting these corners off and using them on mine. And I'm all alone, so you're just going to have to kind of deal with the camera where it's at. It's a lot easier with 2 people, but I got it. Oh. That was a little sketchy. Alright, so I managed to get both windows out without breaking them. I got the roof rack thingy off. So now I got my Sawzall out, and I'm just gonna Sawzall it about a foot bigger than I need. Well, there you go. I've officially totaled a third blazer now, so. Alright, so I finally got my blazer flipped around. I don't know why I didn't do that a while ago, but I got way more room to work. So I'm going to start by pulling all the interior stuff that's left over in here. You know, it's still got all this stuff in there. And then I'll start cutting the inner structure out of that. Alright, so I just got a tape line. I measured it so it should be 2 inches longer than I need just to be safe. So I'm going to cut it right there and cut those off with 2 inches extra as well. And then I'll take the inner structure out so I don't have to do all this extra work that I don't need to do. So I'm going to get that cut and then cut those little ears off down there and then start drilling pinch welds, or spot welds I mean. Alright, so as you can see over here, all I got left is the skin and a little bit of the pinch weld to clean up. But there's a lot more cutting. Gotta cut all of this inner structure out without damaging the skin. And I trim this down closer to where it needs to be. It's basically right on that corner where it needs to be, so I cut it, you know, an inch or two bigger so I can trim it when I get it onto the vehicle. Yeah, so I'm just gonna sit here and cut out all of this internal structure, and then I can set it up onto that structure and start marking and trimming it to exactly where it needs to be. So yep, a lot of cutting. Alright, so there it is. Got all the inner structure cut out of it. I also went through and drilled every single spot weld and got all of that stuff off of there. So I already kind of set it up on top just to kind of see if it lines up, and it does. It's gonna work. So I'm gonna go through and finish welding this inner structure together and then put that back up, and then I still got to trim it down because it's a couple inches too long everywhere. So I'll trim it down to fit and start welding it together. So I just realized that was all filmed in time lapse, but I got it welded up and I'm gonna put the top on. And that's, yeah, so get the top put onto it and go from there. Start trimming. so got it all tacked in. I did a couple spot welds around. It's tacked to the, it's not moving, and I don't have vice grips holding it anymore. So now I'm gonna go get the glass and see if the glass fits into it. All right, so I went and got the window, put it in, and it does fit. Every time I want to open the window, but it does open. Tailgate opens. So, all right, so I think that's gonna be the end of this video. It's completely welded on. I got all that welded across the entire roof is welded. Looks super good. So I'm super happy with how it turned out. I put a backing plate on it, which you can't even see from the inside because I measured it to go right under those supports, so you can't even tell, except for, you know, black and red. But yeah, that's all welded up. I got every spot welded. I still need to grind them down. Some of them boogered up a little bit, and so I'll be able to put Lexan windows into it, which would be super cool. Tailgate opens and closes perfectly. The rear window fits, as you guys already seen, but I took it out to do all the welding. The only thing I gotta do besides, well, there's a lot of stuff I need to do, but to finish this, the black piece I'm putting in, is I'm gonna cut this rust out and cut that piece out of my third blazer and just patch that one spot right there, just to get rid of the rust.
The back's sort of almost done.
It's pretty close. I mean, look at that. No more dents.
Doesn't even look like you wrote.
But, so this gives us an opportunity. I'm gonna paint it again. I think I'm gonna do Raptor liner. And I think I'm gonna do gray. But let me know if you want it to do a different color.
I'm
or
kind of thinking like a dark blue. So how this is dark.
She's wanted me to do it blue for the entire time I've owned it. But
I do admit I like it gray. I think it suits this very well.
But I painted it because I wanted it to look nice for Easter Jeep Safari, and it looked nice. It looked too nice, so I decided to roll it. So I'm not worried about it looking pretty. It's a rock crawler. The pretty stages are done with and over, so.
I just want it to be
but
one color.
I'm still taking my time, and I'm doing it right, you know. I worked at an auto body shop I worked for Robbie for a while, so I've learned to be meticulous about it, and so I have to do it right. I won't let myself do it wrong, so. As bad as I want to fix that dent, and I'm not going to.
We got body damage.
every time I put a dent in it, I'm not gonna fix it, so it's just gonna happen. But I am gonna paint it again. I think I'm just gonna go with Raptor liner this time, so just a spray on bed liner. So let me know if you think different colors, or I also need a new name for it. It never really had a name, but
What was the name you came up with today?
I think we're kind of thinking like Stubby or StuBlazer or something like that.
I kind of like the StuBlazer.
No, it just looks all stubby, you know. So
StuBlazer.
yeah. So stay tuned for the next one where we continue doing body work.